Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, Dementia Dawn has been trending on Twitter for several days now. Here's why.
Report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley, did you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything, deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things. Like Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people. Soldiers, National Guard, so whatever they want. They turned it down. They don't want to talk about that.
So beyond the fact that he lied about the 10,000 troops he offered, besides the fact that, there was no destruction of January 6th Select Committee documents and his pretending that he wasn't the commander-in-chief with all of the power on January 6th, homeboy's losing it. He is losing it. That was Donald Trump at a rally on Friday, confusing Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi. And what was with him repeating her name 3 times? I watched that several times and I was like, is he trying to summon her? Is this like Beetlejuice, right? He's like, Nikki Haley, Nikki Haley, Nikki Haley. And then she appears, poof, out of nowhere. And she starts saying stupid things like, America was never racist. And I have to pardon Trump because he's 80. Just terrifying stuff like that. Anyway, this is far from the only what the hell is he talking about moment that Trump has had lately. As you all know, I shared not that long ago, he keeps talking about how he beat Barack Obama. Remember this?
And we did with Obama. We won an election that everyone said couldn't be won.
He blamed Jeb Bush, Mr. Please Clap, for getting us into the Iraq War when he was never president. He said that in 1775, our army took over the airports in the Revolutionary War, airports that did not exist. And he claims that windmills cause cancer. But this next one, this is my all-time favorite. I can't imagine anything being better than this.
We have a man who is totally corrupt and the worst president in the history of our country, who is cognitively impaired, in no condition to lead, and is now in charge of dealing with Russia and possible nuclear war. Just think of it. We would be in World War II very quickly.
That cracks me up every time I see it. World War II. He's so dramatic about it. He is so certain he nailed it. He's like Rebel Wilson. He's like, nailed it. Anyway, here's what Nikki Haley had to say about Trump's comments about her.
Last night, Trump is at a rally. And he's going on and on mentioning me multiple times as to why I didn't take security during the Capitol riots. Why I didn't handle January 6th better. I wasn't even in D.C. on January 6th. I wasn't in office then. They're saying he got confused, that he was talking about something else. He was talking about Nancy Pelosi. He mentioned me multiple times in that scenario. The concern I have is, I'm not saying anything derogatory, but when you're dealing with the pressures of a presidency, we can't have someone else that we question whether they're mentally fit to do this. We can't.
So the equally reprehensible Koch network is now sending up warning flags, flares, sounding the alarms, because their internal review of the presidential race shows that Trump will lose to Biden. I don't know if I agree with them. I don't know if it's that, simple and in the bag, but in a memo that they provided to their members, they run the Americans for Prosperity group, this anti-tax group. They wrote, quote, despite what some media outlets report, our polling consistently shows Donald Trump loses to Joe Biden in the states that will decide the election in November. And if he is convicted in one of his many criminal trials, polling indicates his loss will be even more severe. So the problem that the Koch network has is that, they just don't hold much sway. They hold sway with a very minute elitist circle of people. You know, your average MAGA voter hates Koch and his buddies probably as much as they hate Biden and Nancy Pelosi. And so to them, it makes no difference if Biden wins or Nikki Haley wins. MAGA voters see them as two sides of the same coin. So it's not going to do any good. But yeah, amongst the elitist, wealthy, selfish class, they are all freaking out and they're going to spread the word and who knows what they'll do. Anyway, speaking of the 2024 presidential race, you probably heard over the weekend, after losing to Donald Trump by a very large margin in Iowa. Sorry, I had to get in a Pee Wee Herman reference. Meatball Ron DeSantis has tapped out. So I guess his new campaign slogan is going to be like, never back down until you do. Never back down until you start losing and humiliating yourself. Something like that. He can workshop it. He can work on it. He has until 2028 now. But as we all knew, he's a complete cuck. He endorsed Donald Trump immediately, even though he's been saying Trump has changed. He's lost a step. He can't win. He's not a good guy. He's just not the same man. Trump, as you all know, gave him all these nicknames, DeSanctimonious, Pudding Fingers. I mean, he has just been brutal on DeSantis. And now he's like, oh, I'm not going to use DeSanctimonious anymore. I'm retiring DeSanctimonious. So whatever. But, this is not how everyone expected things to go. If you went back a year ago and looked at the news reports, it appeared Trump had lost his mojo. He had lost his grip on the Republican Party. DeSantis was up in all kinds of polls. But, Trump is good. He's good at playing the victim. And I think his base can very much relate to living in that state of perpetual victimhood. So, like attracts like. And also, DeSantis is just a weird guy. I mean, we have to be honest. The more everyone saw of him on the national stage, the more everyone disliked him. So, kind of makes you wonder what's wrong with Casey DeSantis. I'm just saying. Can you imagine? Imagine what their dating life was like going on the first dates with him. Oh, you look really nice tonight, Ron. And then he's like, that creepy, uncomfortable smile, like he's, nauseous, like he's seasick, trying to hold it together. Anyway, I think it's safe to say old Puddin' Fingers here DeSantis has destroyed his future political career. He might be able to pull off a congressional win, but on a national level, I think he is done. He is. So, good news for all of us. His jumping out of the race is good news and bad news for Nikki Haley, though. Heading into New Hampshire and South Carolina, she's not ahead in either one, especially South Carolina. But Trump is gaining steam. And she will definitely pick up some of the anti-Trump voters from DeSantis. But according to a CNN poll, and this was conducted before DeSantis made his announcement to drop out, Trump is going to receive far more. So 62% of the poll respondents who had chosen DeSantis as their first choice, those people said that Trump would be their second pick. Only 30% said the same about Haley. However, I mean, we should keep in mind, the poll showed DeSantis was the number one choice for a very limited amount of voters in New Hampshire. Only 6% of the people that they polled said, yeah, DeSantis is my guy. So New Hampshire was going to be brutal for him. That's why he dropped out probably. So we're talking about a very small portion of the electorate in New Hampshire, but still Trump is going to pick up more support. And he's already ahead. So what does that tell us? And I think a good chunk of DeSantis voters are probably just going to stay home. If the weather's bad, it's a foregone conclusion that Trump is going to win the primary. So I think a lot of people are going to say, why bother? What are we going to go out in this cold for, right? But yay, another MAGA man down. So, and this should be the final nail in the coffin for DeSatan. Goodbye and good riddance. Anyway, I'll let you know when I hear more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like this video, share it, become a subscriber if you have not, become a donor if you possibly can, or leave a one-time tip or super thanks. It really helps to keep the show going. So appreciate all of you. Love you guys. Take care. Talk with you soon.